Hey guys, I am finishing up injector adjustments on our '07 Volkswagen Touareg with the V10 diesel, and I wanted to give a quick video of what components needed to be removed and how to adjust your injectors. Our cams have been replaced, and a lot of the emissions components have been removed, so I'll show which ones have. I removed our EGR cooler right here. Because we already have a Rocketchip Stage 1 tune that deletes all that software, and so I don't need it, and it makes working on this car so much easier because there's just a huge mess of piping, hoses, and connectors that are all up inside there that whenever you need to remove your intakes or anything like that, it makes it so much harder and makes the task so much longer. So I'll just go ahead. I've already done our driver's side, and I was finishing up on the passenger side. When you get to it, obviously remove your intake. You would twist these little knobs and remove this whole box assembly. If you want, you can actually take the whole box out to get more access, especially if you have your EGR still in place, because there's a lot more piping down in there, and it inhibits removing your valve cover and your sound dampener, so you have to remove that piping regardless. And once you remove that, then you remove your intercooler or your intake tubing, then your anti-shutter valve and EGR, and there's 4 bolts. There's 2 up here, 2 on the top, and if you had your EGR, you'd have 2 more bolts back here, which obviously with all the piping and stuff back here, it's just a royal pain in the neck. Once you get all that removed, then you can remove your sound dampener, which is here. Your sound dampener is just basically just clipped on. It's kind of hard to see, sorry. It's got these little clips. Not clips, but molded pieces right here all along the sound dampener, and it just goes over the gasket like right around here, and so it just kind of pops in place. But before you remove that, you have to take off your grommet for your PCV valve. Probably this is a new one. The cool thing about Volkswagens is that they just go ahead and give you the part number right on there. So just in case if you do screw this up, you know what part number you need to order. Then once all that stuff is already taken off, then you can get to your injectors. As you can see, I've already basically done our passenger side, this is 1 through 5. And you'll also need probably a piece of flat plate and a dial indicator with a magnetic base. What I did was I removed this attachment for the insulation cover, and I used the bolt from our fuel line, and just so lucked out that that bolt and everything would just kind of sit right up under there, and then I could put my magnetic base on top of this plate while I turned the crankshaft. And let me see, get a flashlight. You can see the crank down there, and there's holes all around it, or to access. And I just used a fan clutch removal tool with some bolts. Put those guys in there with some nuts. And you can slide that in there like so, and it just slides right into the holes. And you can able to move the crankshaft back and forth. That way you can adjust all of your injectors, because what you'll need to do is, let's say this one looks like the lowest, right? So you'll have your magnetic base right up on here. You put your dial indicator right here. Turn your crankshaft, because it'll also turn your camshaft via the gears. You'll turn that, and then this will push down the injector, and you'll want to go to its furthest point. And then once you see your dial indicator stop moving, go a little bit more, make sure it still doesn't move. And then you'll loosen up this nut right here, and then thread in this set screw that's inside here, which will push the injector down. And you'll want to thread that down until you hit major resistance. Now, like, don't gorilla tighten it, but once you hit a lot of resistance, stop. Back off the set screw 180 degrees, and then retighten this nut to, I believe, 30 Newton meters. I've gotten all this info from EBON, the EBON Bentley manual online. And then once you get all your injectors done, because you'll want to do each one of them individually as you're rotating the engine, then you'll need to put your valve cover back on. And then when you tighten your valve cover, there's a certain sequence that you'll need to do, and it starts with the outer ones, and you do like 1, 2, 3, 4, go from the outer and work your way in. It's like 10 Newton meters or 88 inch-pounds. One important thing is, once you remove all your piping, you'll have a lot of open covers, open holes, like one here, and then this is for the EGR, or the PCV. Make sure you plug those up, because just in case if you drop a tool or something down in there, you're not trying to spend the next couple hours fishing it out. I know there's a lot of debate on whether or not the cams can be replaced with the engine in the car, and I'm going to say it can be, because I had it down to this point and had the dealer do it, and they did not remove the engine. And that's how you would go about adjusting your cams, or adjusting the injectors on a new set of cams. I've also got some video clips of how to replace the water pump, which is right down in there, without removing this whole support, which is what the manual says. You can remove your electric fans with everything inside the car and everything like that. These cars are a little bit more of a challenge, but everything can be replaced with it in the car. Now, obviously, if you get your turbos or whatever, the whole thing has to come out. All right, guys, have a great day.